That we are back. Sorry about that. Had some issues with the internet connection. Hold on, let's make sure we're up everywhere. We got audio coming through now. Good. Wait for it. Wait for it. All right, we are up. We are in. All good. We are back. Whoo! Took a minute. Took a minute. All of a sudden, just decided to die on me. We are back. We are good now. Thank you all for sticking around, sticking through this. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Um, we are back, baby. Um, okay, there we go. Clear that notification out. All good, up and running. Thank you, chat. I don't know what you heard. If anything, had audio issues, had internet issues, everything failed on me all at once. But we're back now. All good to go. Season 2, Zero to Hero, the Artful Diddy, episode 9 of 10. Next week will be the grand finale of season 2 with the Artful Diddy. What's up, Boots? How you doing tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Episode 9 is tonight, correct. So we're gonna talk about episode 9. We're gonna talk about next week and what that's going to look like. Kind of odd time for the end of season 2 with all of the class system changes, but we'll get to that in a minute. So what do you say? Let's get in. Love that, Boots. Thank you so much, brother. Let's get in. Let's take a look at this horse. Does anyone wish that this was a track? Just me, maybe? Thoughts? I think that'd be kind of cool. These things shooting past you as you're racing. Um, I don't know. I love it. I want this to be a track. Let's make this a track. So in this past week, we had a goal of Quirky's in the house. Let's go. If you got a Quirky, let me know in chat. So this past week was all about 1800s. And so actually ran more races than I have in the past few weeks. Got about 8 races in this past week and still holding super strong. So we're a total of 66 races, 34 of which are 1800, which we determined to be the best distance for this horse. 5 firsts, 5 seconds, 3 thirds, 38%, just under that 39% in the money. So that's still holding. And again, still about 10% above our average overall, which is pretty solid. So pretty happy about that. Average position, though, just crushed 4.8. That's drastically improving over the 6. Flames at 85%, which is awesome. And running fairly fast, or at least faster than the average in all of the races. 56% ROI. Really, really happy with that. So tonight's stream is going to be kind of short. Metaverse guys weren't able to make it on stream tonight. No big deal. We'll catch up with them soon. But I wanted to talk about going into this next week. We got hit today with the class system update. Dynamic classes. I don't even know what the official name is right now of it. But now you have to do discovery races. I'm sure most of you know what it is. You have to do a Griffin, and then 10 races. If you haven't run a Griffin, if you run a Griffin, you don't have to do that. Just 10 races. And so these races are paid, which is nice in a way. But there isn't much to them as far as like what you get out of it. So it's supposed to be like discovery. You get to pick your distances. By the way, these races are filling in so fast. I don't know if any of you have tried to actually get in a race. I've been trying on and off most of the day, and I think I got in 3 races today. So if I'm sure these first few days will be super packed. Towards the end of the week, I expect that to lighten up a little bit. But right now, it is tough to get into these discovery races. I want to take a minute to kind of talk about the breakdown of strategy for these races. I've seen both sides, and I think both sides had a good point up until we knew exactly how this would play out. Now that we know how this plays out, there's a very clear winning strategy in my mind on how you should handle these. And I don't know why you would do anything different at this point. So for a race, you get, I think it's for the whole prize pool is $10 for a discovery race. Not, a $10 entry fee. No, it's just $10 total. You get something like $6 for first, I want to say. Mayhay says they added a nice skill metric to joining races. How fast can you click? Seriously, it is tough. It is tough. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Mayhay. So it's $6 for first, $2.50 for second, and then $1.50 for last. Andy, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Or for third, not last. So it's like, okay, you're getting something for these discovery races, and that's nice. It's better than getting nothing. I'll give you that. However, if you were to enter a $2.50 paid race, for first place, you get just under $19, about $19. You get just under $8 for second, which blows the first place out of the water. And then for third, you get about $4.75, which is still better than second. So, I mean, it doesn't, to me, that just doesn't make sense. Why? The two strategies for these discovery races are you either run to your horse's best ability or you tank. So I don't know why anyone would do anything in these races but tank. The way that they've set up the economics of this, it just doesn't make sense. I could get just under $8 for a second place in a $2.50 race. It'd be so much easier to do that. And so I'm racing right now. I'm starting with my low Z numbers and working my way up. I've got a Z2 going right now. And I'm flaming a lot. Got a second, got like a fifth. I only got in those two or something like that. The competition isn't necessarily easy. So if you add on not being able to get in, which isn't their fault, but potentially harder competition, it's like a bunch of different griffins, and then the economics of it not making sense. Why would you do anything but tank your horse right now? To me, it just makes no sense whatsoever. And I'm sure this is part of a later mechanic that they want to develop out further. But why do we have to have this discovery process anyways? To me, this just doesn't make any sense at all. You're not stopping. You can still downclass. Ducky Melon is in fourth, class 4 right now. And it's just I've seen so many tweets today about horses downclassing or finishing discovery in class 4. It's a joke. It's so easy to do. It doesn't solve anything. You're just delaying those different classes and funnels being filled up. I don't get it at all. So chat, let me know what you think about these discovery races. Are you able to get in? If so, where in the world do you live, or what VPN are you using? 2, are you trying to tank, or are you racing up? And just what do you think about the process as a whole? To me, it just doesn't make sense. Why are they making us run these races if it's going to be manipulated? And this is brought up in a few different tweets earlier today, that they thought there would be a prize pool or a tournament for, class 1 horses, whatever. And Zed's talked about doing that a little later down the line. Absolutely. That makes sense then. Let's incentivize those higher classes. I mean, you can do that a bunch of different ways, but why does it make sense to have discovery races now? Why can't they reapply their new numbering system to these horses? Unless that was too big of a reset on the system to go back and look at all of the races of the horse and apply it. That's a shit ton of data. Don't get me wrong, but you would think a company of Zed's size would be able to do that. I don't know. Maybe. It doesn't solve anything. It seems like an easy way out. It doesn't solve anything. I don't see it tied directly to a future plan. I would implement this much later down the line when you incentivize getting into those higher classes. So circling back to chat here for a minute. So Chateau said, Andy says, I'm good, but getting repetitive strain entry, not because it's a special day, just class change. Strain injury, not entry. Sorry to hear that. Rest up. I get some ice on it. Maybe put in a splint. Maybe get some more wrist action in there, if you know what I'm saying. Chateau. Today has been the most profitable day on the track in a long time, to be honest, with Crimson, Ducky, etc. Waiting in lower classes, this may be the last chance at winning money for a while. Yikes. Well, I'm glad it was profitable, not necessarily for you, I believe. That's awesome. Congrats on that. Big dub. Yeah, I'm scared. We're resetting. To the same thing. It just looks different. I don't know why, if you had a good horse, you wouldn't tank right now, because you're going to shoot up to class 2-1 eventually, maybe. I don't know. What's yet to be seen is this enough? If there are so many good horses down in class 4, is that population size going to be big enough to keep those horses down there? Because then we have the exact same problem that we had. Surely, I hope Zed looked into this, because otherwise this is a joke of an update. Sniff says, spot on. Thank you, Sniff. Mayhay says, my stable is full of donkeys. I've made more money today than I have in the last month. Congratulations, Mayhay. Big dub. So happy for you. I live in Kansas. I put my good horse in the stud Saturday, planning to not race him immediately. Thank you for adding your location. Sounds like you've been able to get into some races. So maybe it's just me being over here in the Midwest, more in the Midwest, by those Great Lakes. Not that they have anything to do with it, but not able to get in. Crypto Benno says, waste of time. I'm picking up money here and there, doing the discovery thing, but fully expecting to go back to where we were before this so-called class reset. Yeah, and BG brought this up on Twitter, and I know I'm beating a dead horse, pun intended, but it was ELO at one point, and then it was ELO-like system, but still referred to as ELO very openly, and then now it's not. Now, Zed employees get in trouble, allegedly, kind of jokingly, Jay said on Zombie Stream, if they use ELO. Like, why? It's one thing to change it. If you're going to change it, fine. But this goes back to the just original comms question or issue of, tell us you're changing it. That's fine if you're changing it. Things happen. Tell us you're changing it and tell us why you're changing it. I don't think there's been an answer yet to that. And I think, I'm going to go pessimistic here, I think it's because they don't want to admit it. That they weren't able to pull it off the way that they originally intended. Chateau says, profitability for me is a low bar. My stable is competitive and paid in the past few months. Oh, it's not competitive and paid in the past few months. Sorry, Chateau. Glad you're getting something out of it, though. And hopefully you're enjoying the process. It's kind of cool. I mean, in a way, it is kind of a cool mechanic, but there's just, the utility behind it sucks. I'm going to be honest. It doesn't do anything. Starry Knight says, same girl, different dress. Disappointing. We need to get the data to see if there's anything close to ELO. If this is anything close to ELO. You know, time will tell. The way it's written, it really doesn't come off that way, but you never know. But, I mean, your same girl, different dress comment. I feel that's spot on, Starry Knight. Absolutely spot on. Andy says, I agree with Chateau. I don't have good horses, so I'm trying to win at the moment. If this is your time to get profit, go for it. Absolutely, go for it. Here's a question for chat. Are any of you in class 6 at all? And if so, how is that going? What does that look like for you? Would be curious to see what that ecosystem is. Highly Unstable says, it's the day of the donkey. I kind of like that. Lucky Charms. Lucky in the house. How you doing, Lucky? I ran most of my distance preference horses around 50-50, landed most of them in class 3. Natural U's mostly landed in class 4. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Chapstick is running low. Andy BHP says, just counted, I've got into 37 races in the last 6 hours in the UK. Holy mother nuggets. What up, Crazy Cat? How you doing tonight? We're talking about the new discovery system. Curious to see, are you getting in races? What are your thoughts on the system? What classes are your horses getting in? Do you feel those classes are correct? I don't like this update. I'm happy some of you are winning. That's huge. That's huge. Highly unstable. 58 races here in Fort Knox. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my internet. Siberia says there should at least have enough races generated. 50,000 people fighting for the same 6 races. Yeah, that's tough. They are flying by. Worka says, to be honest, if this discovery doesn't go well, I'll be reducing my stable to a handful of horses. Interesting. What's your reasoning behind that, Worka? That you're just worried that they'll be stuck too high? Because you'd think over time, whether your discovery races were predominantly a weaker field, and then you go into too high of a class, you'd eventually come down, hopefully somewhat naturally. And vice versa. But again, it depends on the distribution of the population. If all these great horses are tanking, and you have this quality and skill, would that keep those horses balanced down there? That's something I want to understand. Chateau says, haha, not enjoyable, but I've made like $150 fat fingering discovery races today. Congrats, Chateau. That's awesome. That is awesome. Starry Knight says, I tried to get to class 6 tanking, only made it to 5. Has anyone made it to class 6? Noob Squad, how you doing? What up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Veggie Dave, I'll discover my decent horses once things settle down. It sounds like I should be racing my donkeys now, though. Possibly. Yeah, this could be a good donkey time. This could be good. I'm starting with my low Z numbers, and I'm just trying to work up through my Z numbers, and whatever happens, happens. Flying Henchman says it's fine for new horses, but old horses, this is a brutal chore and grind. It really is. There should be an easy button for horses that are not great, that don't want to waste hours getting back to the point where you could compete daily, weekly tournaments. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too, is like you're getting back to the same thing. This is like a really bad Super Bowl halftime show. But you are like forced to sit through it and watch it. Like you're at the game and you can't leave your seat. This is kind of what that feels like. I ran 2 horses in 10 tanks and they didn't make it to class 6. Both sitting at 1397. Wow, that sounds close though. That sounds really close. Crazy Cat says it's brutal. I'm having a hell of a time even getting in races. Me too, Crazy Cat. That is my trouble. Golden Glow in the house. What's up, brother? How you doing? Just wish I could get in races. I know. I hope it's gonna get a little easier towards the end of the week. I would think it should. But we shall see. All right. Who we got there? Crazy Cat says, "Hey, Lucky." Rorka says, "Fun's going out of the game for me right now with mainly class 4 horses. What's the point playing with all the monsters downclassing?" Yeah, because if you look at, we're gonna fire this up quick. We're gonna do this. We are going to do this. We're going to check out the site. We're going to pull up the state of Zed. Let's take a look at that. Let's pop that up. All right. So while this loads, like clearly the majority of the horses are class, and this is filtered through November. So the majority of races have been hands down in class 4. The majority of the population is in class 4. Then 3, then 5. And hardly anything into or 1. So if everyone's going to, I feel like class 4 is just going to get absolutely just hammered. And I think we're going to see like this, the number of races in class 4, I hope the scheduler can keep up. Because that seems to be where all the good horses are tanking to. That seems to be, according to State of Zed, where most of the Zed population is. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we're going to have a population distribution issue. Yeah, Crazy Cat running solo tonight. Metaverse guys were not able to hop on. No big deal. They'll be back next week. Sniff Racing says when you have many horses, it sucks. I am so sorry, Sniff. I've got how many horses do you have, Sniff? I won't say I don't have a lot. I have a good amount. But I don't have like hundreds. I have 28 horses, I believe. 26 or 28. And that it feels like just insurmountable task. Sniff Racing says not as hard to get into races as yesterday. Just pick the right timing. Siberia says it's probably a good time to take a week's break. Hopefully by then it will be easier to get into discovery races. I would think so. I mean, it has to be, right? It has to be. It's only natural there's going to be a big rush right now. Andy says, I wonder if they take prize pools away when the tourneys come back. I don't know. But Andy, I think so. I really do. I really think paid racing is a thing of the past. I think the grand vision, and I know I said I really didn't see a purpose for Discovery, but I think the purpose of Discovery is that maiden class, where if you have a new horse or an unraced horse, you now have 10 races to figure out your horse. Especially after this initial rush kind of thins out. But I see some value in that, I guess. But right now, the way they handled this, I wish they could have just retroactively applied scores to all of us. Because this just doesn't do anything at all. But yeah, I think prize pools are going away. I think it's just going to be tournament racing. Maybe they keep these small prize pools for Discovery. I don't know. Maybe it's just an incentive because they know every horse in the game has to go through this now. I don't know. But yeah, I think paid racing's done. EKZ says they are testing the scheduler now called Discovery. That's a good point. I hope so. I really hope so. Jack Donhay says got 11 out of 48 discovered so far. What a grind. Can we give it up for Jack? That is impressive. That is absolutely impressive. That's 99 races. How the... And what time frame did you do this? Jack, that's got to be some sort of record. You might have the most races run at this point. Lucky Charms says, if paid races goes, I'll be done with this game. So let's run that thought out, chat. If paid racing goes and it's just tournaments, what do we think about that? Are we still in? Do we still like this? I think they can't get rid of paid racing, because if they do, it devalues so many horses, because they had a regular income source, and now that's taken away in favor of tournaments. Jack, good on you. Good on you. Both Lucky saying they're out of paid racing goes. I'm worried. And Zed has always said, I'm pretty sure that they've said that, horses are, or like VHS is an entertainment company. That worries me a little bit. And I'm worried, in my personal opinion, that the community, and this is the broader NFT community, myself included, I've done this too, views NFTs as investments. And I often say the word investment. Very lazy of me to use that word, but I'm worried that VHS, along with many other NFT companies, don't view these as investments. And at that point, at any point, it doesn't matter what our opinion is. It's because we're not the ones making the game or the project or the utility, whatever it may be. So I'm very concerned, because the value of those low Z horses gets diminished tremendously if paid racing goes away. Um, Daily tournaments are draining. They need to keep paid racing. I agree. I absolutely agree. Like you have, I like the idea of shorter tournaments than the like the 2 week long tournaments, but this is just too small in my opinion. Like 2 weeks was too long. But now just daily. That's dailies. Like okay, let's say some people may work remotely if you are working because of COVID. But let's say you don't work remote. You go into your place of business, your employer, and you come home. You work a 9 to 5. You come home. You make dinner. Are you going to check every day or every it's Wednesday. I've got to get in this tournament this week. Like that just over time that just feels so exhausting. Um, in my dream world, which is far from perfect, you have paid racing, you have free racing, and you have a weekly tournament. And you can run that weekly tournament every other week, so 2 tournaments a month. I think that's a really nice balance of, oh my gosh, I have to get in and do this. I can still earn my ETH or token whenever that is and comes out. Um, I think I think that balance is key. There are the beautiful thing of Zed is the complexity behind it, but it's also a very delicate system, and there's a lot of things to be balanced. And so, in racing, in the scheduler, in the entry fees, in the gate selection, in breeding fees, in number of studs, in number of offspring a female can have per month. There's so many variables. It's a very delicate system that is Zed. It's hard to get right. In their defense, but it's also like there are ripple effects to all of these changes that are happening. Um, and yeah, I hope and pray that paid racing does not go away. I might turn that into a jingle. Um, Golden Glow says, glad that someone else was worried about that statement being an entertainment company. Yeah, thank you, Golden Glow. Thank you. Yes. I've disliked tournaments since they have started. If that is where the game is going, I will just stop playing. I'm not a big tournament fan either, Lucky. I'm not a big tournament fan either. I'd like to go, like allow people to experience Zed at their own pace and incentivize it with a prize pool. Andy says the value goes off the top horses too if they take away ETH and don't sort a suitable replacement with Dez or Zed token. Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be one thing to get rid of paid races, but if this token drop, which also speaking to the delicacy of the delicate nature of the Zed ecosystem, if this token comes about, this has a potential to disrupt so many aspects because it is a singular universal token. There isn't a breeding token, a racing token, a governance token. No, there's one token for breeding and racing and gamification. That could be a great thing. It could be a great thing. Could also be a very scary thing. Because this one token, this is the one ring to rule them all. This could be it. Jack Donhay says, grinding paid races is my bread and butter. Not nearly as good for my stable as the daily tournaments have been. Paids are much more satisfying. So satisfying. Dailies have not been successful, I mean. Andy says, just not the drop, the whole value prop. I agree. Like, that is the platform. Zed it has so much potential. I'm not trying to I know I've said a lot of bad things. I'm not trying to totally FUD Zed tonight, but as much as the FUD is there, so is the potential to really just take off. The other thing that's kind of in the ecosystem right now is other games and other platforms coming in. I'm not saying I like any of these other horse racing games per se, but there are other play to earn games. There's even engage to earn games. Think about that for a minute. You thought play to earn was cool? Think about engage to earn. We'll be talking about that soon. And some of them are putting out great products with great teams that listen, communicate, and care with the community. Zed could be in some trouble if things don't sort themselves out soon. That's all I got to say. To your point, Andy, I agree with you. Metaverse Gaming, what is up? How are you doing? Discovery will be fun for Smoke Show. Oh, absolutely. That's going to be wild. That is going to be wild. And hopefully by that time, getting into races will be a lot easier. So you guys can have a nice, smooth stream for that. Arbitrage going to be on Wednesday. That is huge. That is awesome. TRV AMA tomorrow as well. Good to know. Good to know. Andy says, if they get it right, it could be truly amazing for all of us. However, the flip side is not good. And the unfortunate thing is the flip side is easier. It's a lot easier to mess something up than get something right. And that's just in general. That's not on Zed or VHS. But yes, if they get this right, the sky is the limit and we are all going to the moon. That's not financial advice. I'm just saying the platform will be exciting. Brandino says, yeet. Metaverse says everyone against arbitrage. And Prospect, if you're here, Remy, if you're here, Mommy or Daddy and Daddy are fighting again. I thought we were over that, but apparently they're fighting again. ZNFT says, haven't tried Discovery yet. Has ELO, not named ELO anymore, been a flop so far? In my opinion, yeah. You've got any horse. I mean, you can down class. So it's a waste of 10 races. 9 races. However many races it is. Absolute waste. I don't see any value in it. Ducky Melon's in class 4. Other great horses are in class 4. You're just delaying the inevitable. Why wouldn't you down class if you can do it? It just doesn't make sense. If they did this ELO thing, well, hopefully things will start to even out, but we will see. One sec. All right. Okay, so here's what's greater, chat? Here's a question for you. Here's a poll. What is greater of these two things? Greater chance that Zed kills it, which would be awesome. Would love that. You love to see it. Greater chance that Zed doesn't, but they recover, or greater chance that D'Artagnan's head is the roundest item in the whole universe. My answer, I know where my answer is, and that's the head for sure. It is quite possibly the roundest object in the whole world. Lucky says, I did make enough today off of discoveries to breed a new Finny exclusive. That's a donkey. Some good blood in her though. That's awesome. Congrats. Hey, with the breeding update, that's a big positive. That's something I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to. There incentives during discovery. So ZNFT. So if you are racing discovery, you have a $10 prize pool total, not a $10 entry. So if you get first, you get $6. Which if you get second in a $2.50 race, you're making more money than that. So it's a very, very low incentive. First rule of, it's like saying Voldemort. It's the name that you can't say. He who should not be named is that 3-letter name. First rule of Voldemort is we can say Voldemort. Love you too, D'Artagnan. Crazy Cat agrees. It looks like Lucky does too. So we got 3 votes. I think that's enough. That we can all agree that Dart's head is the roundest thing in the world. So yeah, I don't love discovery. I'm excited for breeding. We've got the season finale of Zero to Hero next week. I'm going to try and grind out these Discovery races. Confirmed Remy does go to tea parties. That is a fact. He loves tea parties. That is a fact. We have pictures of it. Now there's anything wrong with that. I like a good tea party. Who doesn't? But Remy enjoys his tea parties. Crazy Cat calling him out, calling him out. All right, well, we are going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight. Good luck with your Discovery races. I hope they are profitable for you. I hope you get into the class you want to. Appreciate you all for stopping in. Thanks for sticking through the technical glitches in the beginning of the stream. But we got everything worked out, so appreciate it. We'll be back next week at this time. Otherwise, I will see you Thursday. We'll be talking more Discovery, more Zed news, and thank you all, no matter where you are.